This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It sure is great being here helping you with playing the guitar. This is lesson 10 in this mini course on fingerpicking, so it's all about fingerpicking. In this lesson, I'm going to be going over a new fingerpicking pattern, at least to the mini course that is. And in this pattern, we're going to work on plucking more than one string at once during a couple different parts of the pattern. So go ahead and take a look at it. I've got it written up here on the board. Like I've mentioned in previous lessons, when we see the letter P in the pattern, that represents our thumb. And the thumb plucks the lowest note of the chord, or the bass note of the chord. So for D chord, that's always, any type of D chord, that's always going to be the open D string, which is the 4th string. For any type of A chord, that's always going to be the open 5th string, because that's an A. For any type of E chord, that's going to be the low 6th string, and that's because that's an E. So any type of E, that will work. For the rest of the chords that we end up playing, it's the lowest one that we have a finger on. So for example, for G, which we'll play here in a minute, we're going to pluck the low 6th string because that's the lowest one we have a finger over here in the left hand. And then for C, we pluck the 5th string because that's the one where we have a finger, the lowest one that we have a finger on. Back in the pattern, when we see the letter I, we're going to use our index finger, and we're going to always pluck in standard position the 3rd string, which is the G string. The letter M represents the middle finger, and with that one, we're always going to pluck the 2nd string, or the B string. And then with the A, and that's the one that's a little different for us on the fingers, but the A represents the ring finger. I got a ring on that finger. That one's going to always pluck the top string. Piggy's going to move with it. That's standard positioning. Down the road, we will get into doing patterns where we're not in standard positioning, but right now we are. So we've got our thumb, index, and then middle and ring are both above the same rhythmic value. So we're going to pluck those two at the same time and then back to index. With this pattern, both halves are the same. So we're going to have P, I, M, A together, I, and then P, I, M, A together, I. So we can work on this with an E minor chord, because we're going to pluck the low 6th string in. We don't have to worry about having our left hand on, because the 2 strings that we'd actually put it on, we're not going to be playing. So we can just worry about playing this pattern. So it's going to be thumb, index, then middle and ring go together, back to index. Thumb, index, middle and ring go together, and then back to index. P, I, M, A, I. P, I, M, A, I. Thumb, index, middle and ring together, index. P, I, M, A, I. Thumb, index, middle and ring, index. P, I, M, A, I. And remember, as we're playing this, and I mention this a lot, but it's really important to keep the natural arch with your wrist. You don't want to overextend, and you don't want to be pulling it back. Nice natural break where we naturally have that break. And then with our fingers, it's the grabbing motion. We're not releasing, we're not flexing, but we're grabbing. That's where the strength is, and we want to use that as we get our tone. So there's a nice natural break as we pluck. If I collapse that wrist, I cannot do that. I have to pull up or pluck up, and so that changes it. So when you get comfortable with that pattern, you can speed it up, just playing it there. Thumb, index, middle ring, index, and you just do it as many times as you need to until you feel comfortable playing that pattern. We're going to go ahead and practice this pattern with an actual chord progression from an actual song. I've got the chords up here on the board for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Down in the description below this video, there's also a link where you can download a free copy of PDF format, I should say, of the sheet music. So you can just download that sheet music and play right along with me. Work on it on your own as well. So what I like about this pattern is it works really great when there's 1 chord per measure. It also works really great when there's 2 chords per measure. So we're in 4/4 time here, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When we have 1 chord per measure, we're going to play that pattern twice. Like we have G written here, it lasts the whole measure, so we're going to play that pattern twice on G. Then in the next measure, we have C for the first half and G for the second half. So I'm going to play C and G. So for the first chord, I'm going to play this first half of the pattern, and then for the second chord, I'm going to play the second half. Because the two halves are the same, it really is quite easy with this pattern. So for these first two measures, I'd have G, then I'm going to have C and G. And it's going to be as simple as that. So in the next two measures, I've got C and G, and then D7 and G. In the next line, I've got G, D7, and that same thing happens for 4 measures. G to D7, G to D7, G to D7. Then in the last line, we've got a whole measure of G. Then we go back to that C to G, C to G, D7 to G. You can follow it up here on the board or right there on the sheet music that you have downloaded. Let's go ahead and play these chords nice and slow. So 1 and 2 and ready and go. And we've got G, G, C, G, C, G, D7, G. Second line, G, D7, G, D7, G, D7, G, D7. At the end, or do a pinch if you want to. Now let's try doing it a little bit faster. I assume that was great. Let's do it a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And G, G, C, G, C, G, D7, G, G, D7, G, D7, G, D7, G, D7, G, G, C, G, C, G, D7, G. Just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the melody. So it's always great to play the melody and sing the melody and then put the two together, the accompaniment and the singing. But it's also good to develop our melodic playing ability. I've mentioned this in earlier lessons, but you can use just your thumb to pluck these melody notes. You can also alternate thumb and index, or alternate index and middle, or index and ring, or middle and ring, some sort of alteration. I'm just going to alternate index and middle, index and middle. I'm also going to sing the melody as we play it, which is a great thing to do, and a lot of my in-person students love to do this. But it can help us learn to sing the melody. It can also help us play the melody a little bit better because we bring in the intuition of maybe a familiarity with the melody. So it's going to be like twinkle, twinkle. We'll just go like that. 1, 2, ready, and twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, there's the chord, or there's the melody. Now, I just went in assuming you knew how to read standard music notation or tablature. If you didn't know how to do either one, there's quick answer videos that can get you going, especially on the tablature. There's also books in the Method Book series that can help you learn to read and play melodies with standard music notation or tablature. There's video lessons that come with those. There's the tablature book, and then there's note readings book 1, 2, and 3. So, lots of ways to get help. Let's go ahead and put this together though with the chords. So singing the melody and playing the chords, or if you need to just focus on doing the chords, that's okay too. So twinkle, 1 and 2 and ready and go. And twinkle, twinkle, little star, how like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Try taking it just a little bit faster. Twinkle, 1 and 2 and ready and go. And twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, that wraps us up for this lesson. I hope you're having fun. This pattern works great for any song in 4/4 time. I especially like it when there's lots of measures that have 2 chords per measure. In the next lesson, we're going to work on a finger picking pattern that will use the same thing for the first half, but then have an alternate option for the second half. So we'll take a look at that. I hope you're having a blast. I'll see you next time. Take care. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.